Hey guys, it's Chris here from Chris's Creative Life, and I design workshops that help you create beautiful projects from start to finish with easy to follow guides. And today we are here to make a stinking cute shaker card. I mean, there's like nothing better than a fun little shaker card. So we're going to play off of the theme from last week where I created this card using it was for National Donut Day, right? And so it was like a birthday celebration card using More Than Autumn, and it obviously featured donuts because it was National Donut Day. So today, though, we're going to create a Christmas shaker card with the same stamp set, but with like a Christmas sentiment on it. Hey, Rhonda. So I think it turned out super cute. So if you want the recipe sheet, inspiration sheet, make sure to sign up for my newsletter. The link for the newsletter should be in the comments. And then on the weekend, when I send out my newsletter, you can click to download the PDF recipe sheet for today's card. Because it turned out super cute. So let's get started. Make sure to say hello as you jump on. Let me know. So are you all finished creating your Christmas cards? If so, then turn this into something else. But I just thought it was really cute. And today we're going to feature the Sentimental Christmas DSP. If you are watching this live on November the 13th, 2024, it is also the seasonal sale from from Stampin' Up. So that means that the DSP is actually on sale. Bundles are on sale, inks on sale. There's lots of stuff on sale. If you want to know any of the items that are on sale, if you just jump over to my shopping website with Stampin' Up, it's chrisrobertson.stampinup.net, and there's actually like a whole tab for the specials, and they're just 3 days. But like I said, lots of great staples in there if you are looking for a little bit of a deal. Okay, so let's get to creating. So I'm going to add my desk in here now. I think I need to turn up a light. It's like rainy here today. So perfect kind of day to create this fun card. So I think it turned out, like I said, really cute. It's pretty easy. So we're just going to create a second version. This, like I said, is the card that I did last week, and it also turned out super cute. I love the More Than Autumn stamp set, right? So it's got like the fun cup and the donut. There's pie. In the US, I know they're just coming up onto their Thanksgiving, so this will be super handy. There's little marshmallows, and I love these little tiny icons that you could kind of squeeze into little spots. But so I did use this stamp set, and we don't need anything out of that. I did pre-stamp my elements, but like I'm going to color them and we're going to construct the card. Then for our sentiment, like similar to this one, right? I wanted to so I tried to pull some of the elements from one project to the next. And then next week, I'm actually going to create a layout that's kind of going to pull all of those elements together. Rhonda says, super cute. Have not started mine. I need to get busy. There's still lots of time. Lots of time. Except for here in Canada, we are just about to have a postage strike. So that could become a bit of an issue. But so, like I said, I wanted to pull some of the elements off of this, but do something different. So I'm going to use the same stamped image, the same concept as this Celebrate, but it's going to say Merry Christmas. And then we're going to do some of those fun elements. So I pulled out the Peaceful Seasons for this right here. And then we're going to need the sentiment out of here. So the Merry, and it also has the banner, right, that I used. So this is the little banner for the Merry. And then here's the Christmas, right? And I've just like stacked them up on top of each other. just because it makes it so much simpler for demonstrating, right? So there's just some cut out of like scrap pieces of white, and then I did black and cherry cobbler. I love this font. It, like it said, it's very similar to the Celebrate here. So that was one of the elements that I pulled over. So I use that, and then we're going to stamp on this piece Merry, because then it'll say Merry Christmas. There's also a happy on here. And then maybe I should also pick a sentiment for the inside of the card. So there are some great ones on here. Okay. I think I'm going to use on the inside this one that says, thinking of you with warm feelings and a wish for all the merriest. Okay, so that's what we're going to put on the inside. Maybe that block's not quite big enough. Okay, so I'm going to grab that out of here. And I'm going to grab the Merry, which is right here. And we'll use that small block now. There we go. Okay, so I have those pulled out. Okay, so then I knew I wanted to create a shaker because we haven't done that in quite a while. So, but I wanted like a fun shape to make my shaker element in the background. And I did use the snowflakes in there because I felt they were kind of like Christmassy, right? So we're going to use the white loose snowflakes, but so I wanted a fun little window. So I pulled out the Regal Flora dies because this I thought was kind of the perfect die cut to create our background. So here we go. I'm going to try and move in some sort of semblance of order. Okay, so this is what we're creating. So I have my card base, right? So it's just a standard top folding card base in cherry cobbler. And like I said, all of the information is on the sheet that you can click on when from my newsletter. Okay, so here is what I did. I've cut out a piece of willow white, right? And it's like the standard 4 by 5 1/4. And then I took this die cut, okay, because like it's just a super fun shape. So I'm going to show you exactly how I cut it out. So I spaced them. I tried to space them as well as possible, even. Hey, Kim. So I added this one, 1/2 inch from the top, ran it through, popped out my piece. And then I put this one back in, measuring 1/2 inch from the bottom, because then I got this nice ledge here that I can add my Merry Christmas to. So if you were going to mass produce these, like if you wanted to do like a lot of them, what I would do is create a template for yourself, right? So I have this first one that I measured my spacing, and then all you have to do is lay this one on top of the other one, and your die cut fits in perfectly each time. Just crank it through, pull it out, and then just put a new one underneath. So if you wanted to make like a couple of them or 6 even, this is just a nice way versus having to measure the top and bottom each time. So that is how I created our front panel. This is now going to become our inside. We're going to stamp our message. So we have our card base and our window. And the other thing I like about this is I have this little ledge. So I'm going to be able to keep my snowflakes on the top and the bottom. They're not going to have to go on the whole, across the whole card. So I actually think like you use less of them. We're going to create like a channel. So then I said I did pick, because I actually really love the Sentimental Christmas DSP. And it's got like the, there's a charitable donation for this paper too. So I love that message. right? So I cut that the same as the piece we're going to make our shaker out of. And then I cut a window sheet, right? The same size as my front. So the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to add the window sheet to the piece of white willow. So I am actually just going to glue that. Let's put something down so I don't end up with glue all over everything, because you all know that will happen here. So look, I have two just because I make a lot of mess. Okay, so let's grab some glue and then we can attach the two together, and we will then create okay, there we go. So you kind of just want like a strong, quick drying glue. Okay, there we go. So we're going to adhere those two things together, and then we can do our coloring while it dries, right? So that lasted a whole, like what? I don't even know if it was 5 minutes where I was sitting down. Okay, so I can just line these two pieces up. Okay, and then I'm just going to set a couple of blocks on top of it, and we'll set to doing some coloring. Okay, so I have those two pieces. Actually, we can just adhere these together now. So I'd love to know if you guys have a favorite Stampin' Up! Christmas paper. Like I said, I quite like this one. I like kind of like the muted, old-fashioned Christmas feeling from it. Okay, so you know what? While we're here, why don't we do our stamping while we're waiting for this to dry? So on the banner, I'm just going to add my Mary. And then, like I said, we're going to stamp this for the inside, thinking of you with warm feelings and wishes for all the merriest. Yes. Okay, so we will at least start with stamping it. And if we're going to do some more on the inside, we still have lots of time. I kind of feel like this sentiment might be great with like some snowflakes. I don't know if we're going to do that. We'll see. Because I think it would kind of bring in the snowflakes from the front. So see how pretty that, like I love when they like mix script and printed font. Okay, there we go. And now we can stamp Mary. There we go. And we're going to add a little bit of like movement to that after. Okay, but I'm not going to do as much coloring as I did last week. So I'm just going to do some super simple coloring here. So that's done. Here we go. Here are our cups. So I have a marshmallow for the top and a cup. And I loved this paper with the snowflakes on it. That's probably what's making me think of that. So I just stamped two of the bands on there. I'm just going to fussy cut them out really quickly. Like I said, you could also like stamp them on cardstock and use those little tiny icons to decorate the band from your coffee cup. That would be cute. And then I just have a little scrap of this paper where I cut out the inside for a different project. So I have all that pretty border there. So I'm actually going to fussy cut out one of those candy canes. But you could also look in your stash for a stamp or die cut to fill in those spaces, or like it would be pretty just with even like a pine bough or something like that in that spot. There's lots of things you could use. Doesn't necessarily have to be the paper, but that's one of the fun things, right, about some of the decorative papers from Stampin' Up! Is they're super pretty to just even cut apart and play with. Okay, we'll do the top one first. So I did pick kind of the same colors that I used in last week's card. So we have crumb cake and pecan pie. And then for the green, I wanted something subtle, like not crazy bold for the green. So I actually grabbed soft sea foam. It kind of reminds me of like this pistachio color, right? Pistachios. Like kind of like a lighter green. Okay, so I need my other side. It is stinking cute. That's exactly what I said at the very beginning. I love a good shaker card. And like I said, with a few tricks, right? They're super easy to mass produce also. So I am just using the crumb cake, which actually is kind of probably funny, but it is one of my favorites. Even though like it's super neutral, you gotta love a good neutral. Okay, and then I'm just going to use a little tiny bit of the darker color. And then I'll come back and kind of blend the two together. And you don't really have a lot of space, right, to color. So just kind of like that. Look, it looks like, you know, like a cup that's kind of been around for a little while. We'll just say that. Okay, same thing. I did the same with the whipped cream, and that I just used the light crumb cake because I wanted it to kind of all blend together, and I was pulling off of like this paper that I decided for the cup liners. And I know this is going to surprise you, but on my original, I also did not use any Wink of Stella. So, it is not sparkly, right? Like I was trying to play up like kind of like that old time vintage feel of the paper too. Kind of just did some like messy coloring, and then I'll go in with my darker. And then for the donut, that's where I'm going to use the soft sea foam and the pecan pie. You could still just use the crumb cake if you wanted to just stick with the one like neutral. There we go. Okay, so now the amount of the actual donut that shows is not very much. And so I did also talk about this last week. I'm going to use like the bullet tip end, and anywhere where it's super small, if you just hold it more vertical, your ink stays in a smaller spot. And I only used the light. I didn't really use the dark. There's not a ton of actual space that is the donut, but you can see it. So the more vertical you keep your tip, right, the smaller space that it's going to make contact with. So that's how you can get into kind of some of those small spaces sometimes. Okay, so we will start with a little bit of the light. And like I said, I just wanted to kind of, like, it felt Christmassy, right? Because green is always like, green and red feel Christmassy, right? But I didn't want like a really dark green, because the whole pack of paper is kind of lighter. And I'm just doing like super messy coloring. And then I'll just go back in with my dark to add a little bit of contrast. This one first, because I colored this one first. I'll lift it up. But you can really, like on my original, I can really see how I kind of like just like scribbled. So just like that. Okay, so let's glue down. I'm sure this is dry by now. It looks pretty good. And now we're going to create that into a shaker in a second. But let's glue down our little bands. So it totally reminds me of, like, you know, the vintage Christmas movies. Like, I was going to say Bambi. That is not a Christmas movie. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, right? And Frosty the Snowman. Bambi. Oh my goodness. That's because I was looking at the little on the back, right? There's the little deer. That's what's on the back side of the snowflake paper. Too funny. Okay, same thing. I'll just throw my block on there for a few seconds. Okay, so now let's get my anti-static pouch, which of course I forgot to grab. There we go. Okay, so these are like awesome because, so these are the foam adhesive strips. So they are super skinny because you can see I don't have like big channels around the outside. So these are nice because they are super skinny. So they actually fit down each of these channels. If you have thicker foam tape, you can totally cut it, right? But this just was kind of super handy, I thought. And you just want to make sure everything is sealed up so that our snowflakes don't leak out. So I can just trim it. And I don't actually have to go all the way to the top, right? I just have to go above my channel. And I did tell you, right? I put a piece across so that I just had to put, I'm going to put some on the top and some on the bottom. And if they actually go into the other spot, it doesn't really matter. But I don't feel like I have to fill the whole card, right? I'm just filling each of the channels. Okay, and then piece on the bottom. Not taking my backing off yet. And just make sure, right, everything is sealed. Okay. I have this little extra piece, so I might as well just throw it right there. Might as well use it. Okay. So we're done with that. Okay. So I have my little snowflakes. I have my card front, right? So we're going to load this like this. I'm just going to, I seem to be getting like a crazy amount of powder. So I'm just wiping some of it up. But when you look at it, I am going to just flip it, but I can put just some in each of the two channels, right? So I'm going to give myself a little bit of room here. And I have the loose snowflakes. And I can't remember. I think there's 2 or 3 sizes of the snowflakes. And I did add some onto the top of the card too. So I'll just leave them open after. And they kind of have like that fun rubbery finish. So they're not crazy staticky like sequins when you try and put sequins into a shaker card. So I'm just kind of flattening them out so that they're all not like in a huge pile. They'll all move around once I cover it up anyway. So now I'm just going to take the backing off all of my pieces of foam tape. You don't have to take the backing off the middle one if you don't want to. I will. There we go. Okay, oh, there's a little piece. I don't want that to end up inside my shaker. So now I can literally line it up. It's kind of hard to do when I cannot actually put my head right over top. There we go. And they make, you know, that awesome shaker card noise, which I'm just going to say is always fun. Okay, so we have our Christmas here, right? And then I have my Mary. And I'm just going to kind of take my bone folder and I'm just going to curl up the edges of the banner a little bit, add a little bit of dimension. So I'm going to glue my Christmas down first. And then I'm actually going to do, I think, my Mary with just glue dots. So that's why I put the channel in the middle. So I kind of had like a ledge to build my, like where I wanted to put my sentiment. Plus, like I said, I loved the shape that the Regal Flora dies made. Okay, I'm just going to put a block on this for a second. Okay, so we have 1 cup for up here and a donut and our marshmallows. So let's really quickly cut out our candy cane here with my scissors, and then I actually need another one for the top. So I might have to really quickly pull out my, oh, thank you, Robin. I know, a good shaker card. It's something about the noise, right? And everybody thinks it's a little bit fancier, right? But it doesn't have to be like crazy difficult. And like I said, if you kind of create a template for yourself on your first one, you can totally use it over and over again so that you get your placement correct. Okay, so when I fussy cut, I like to cut away anything I don't actually need. So, and this one is just a slightly different candy cane, so I'm going to decide if I should cut out some greenery, which I think I will. So, and then I have some little berries down here, so I'm going to cut out this part right here for at the bottom. Okay, so that's going to go at the bottom. And now I'm just going to cut myself. I'm just trying to decide here. I think, there we go. That's where I want it. Okay, because I'm going to kind of just tuck this one in behind, I think. Okay, and then I need another candy cane for the other side. Oh, I have a full piece right here. So see, I already cut out a whole bunch out of the middle. So I'm going to use this candy cane for this one, maybe for the other one. You could also just use the inside of this, right, for the inside of the shaker if you didn't want to use the candy, like the candy cane stripe. So this is going to be my candy cane up here, and I am actually going to take out this part. Okay, now I'm going to have too many candy canes, but I think I want this one with a little bit of branch like I had from my other one. That's okay, because I'm doing a layout next week, so I'll use the other pieces on the layout to kind of tuck into little spots. So I already have that one started. So you'll want to make sure to tune in next week too. Like I said, I love, and actually the layout is with the Sentimental Christmas paper too. Because I love kind of like that, the muted Look. Okay. Here we go. We have all our parts, I think, now. So I'm going to add glue to my cup and the back of my candy cane. And I'm going to not put glue at the top because I'm going to tuck my whipping cream in after. And of course I grabbed everything with my tweezers there. So I kind of want it like this. I'm actually going to add this like this and pull this over a little bit. I'm actually going to trim off the bottom there too. Okay, so I'm going to stick my donut underneath and my whipping cream. So tuck in my donut in there and then my whipping cream. And then I'm going to put my block back down on top of it. So I'm going to tuck this underneath where I need it. Okay, and then I have my little berries. So I'm going to put them underneath my donut. And I'm putting some on top too, right? Because it all kind of connects them. I'm going to then trim off my candy cane at the bottom of my cup there. Okay, I'm just going to lay my block on here for a second for things to dry. I'm going to get some dots. And we'll add the Mary. I'm just going to add the dots in the middle. And then if I need to, right, I can still tuck things in underneath. Okay, and sometimes I'm going to tell you that the comments stop auto-populating. So if I miss you saying something, I will come back after. But like I said, the recipe sheet is ready to go, and the link will be in my newsletter on the weekend. And I did add that as like a pinned comment. So if you're not on my newsletter list and would like to be, make sure to add your name. It's the easiest way to find out what I'm up to, because I'm always up to something fun. We only have fun around here. Fun and cute. That's what we're all about here. Okay, so I'm going to just kind of tuck this in underneath. So I want it to kind of connect to the Christmas, but it's getting some movement, right, from the banners being bent. Okay, so I think that's dry. We'll add some snowflakes at the very end, but now we're going to add our cluster at the top there. Same thing. I'm mostly adding my glue in the middle so then I can tuck things in still. And so here, right, I want to be able to probably get this a little bit underneath my Christmas. Or if not, I can actually just cut off a little bit of the bottom because my glue is set there. So I'm just going to, there we go. See, you can't even tell that it doesn't have a bottom. So if I had done the top first, I probably could have tucked it all the way in. And actually this, I'm going to trim off some of it because I don't think I need it that long. So same thing, I'm tucking some of this underneath and some on top. And then my little marshmallows. I could also add my marshmallows with probably a glue dot. But we're just going to tuck those in. Okay, and we're just going to add our block on there for a couple of seconds. And I know you guys are shocked that we're not going to put Wink of Stella on this, but I think we'll leave it. Okay, so now we can add the inside. I should literally see the mess just outside of the camera view. Let's close a few things up. Okay, so we can close up the Regal Flora. So, but that is where we got that fun shape from. So line up my blends there. And there we go. See, the tape runner came out when we cleaned up just a little bit. I'm just going to add the inside. There we go. Lovely. Super pretty sentiment for sure. Okay, so we are almost finished. I just need to add the little snowflakes on the top. So I use those as the embellishment, right? And they're not sparkly. And that is, I think, why I didn't use Wink of Stella on the front of the card too. But you totally could. Okay, so I just glued them down. I just kind of picked a few spots and glued them down. So I'm actually going to add them in different spots than I did on my first card. And it probably just has to do with it's a different part of the designer series paper. So, and I did add 3 in this cluster and 2 up at the top. You guys, it's super pretty in real life too. So, like I said, I don't think you can really go wrong with a shaker card kind of no matter what. And I realized it had been quite a while since we've done one. Okay, so 2 up here. So that is how this version turned out. Oh, wait, we have to put our little candy cane twine on there. So we'll just pull out a piece of baker's twine. My goodness, I can't believe we almost forgot that. Because it kind of just goes perfectly, right, with the whole candy cane theme. So and right, like I said, I pulled things from last week's card onto this week's card, but changed up some of the parts. And so you'll see the same thing, right? Next week when I do the layout, I'll pull different things from each of the cards onto the layout. Just trying to make my loops the same. Okay, and I'm going to do a glue dot because I like to add ribbon with a glue dot. So I'm just adding it to the back. And these are just like leftover glue dots from kits, but just because they're super easy to have sitting on the tray beside me. So I'm going to add it where I wanted it, and it's just kind of like sandwiched right in that little crevice of the A. And actually, I'm going to leave this one with longer tails than the other one, but let's make them even. See, now you notice this one more. This one's just kind of tucked in a little bit, but this one has more presence on the card. Okay, guys, that's what I've got for you guys today. So this is the original one, and then this is the one with the little bit longer tie on it. But they both make that super awesome noise. That's literally got to be like my favorite part of whoa, that's a little late. That's honestly the best part of a shaker card, right? Is the fun little noise that it makes. So don't forget, if you want to grab the recipe sheet, make sure to add your name onto the newsletter list, and that'll be coming out on the weekend. And so that's what I've got for you guys today, and I hope you have an awesome day. And don't forget, if you are watching live or even on the replay relatively close to after the video airs on November the 13th, which is today, Stampin' Up! Started their sale, and it runs until the 15th. And it's the seasonal sale, and so there's 20% off DSP and 20% off bundles, 10% off cardstock, and 10% off inks. I'm hoping I'm saying that correctly. I remembered everything correctly. But if you really want to check out the details, make sure to stop by my Stampin' Up! Website at chrisrobertson.stampinup.net. And I hope you guys all have an awesome day. We'll talk to you later, guys. Bye-bye. If you have any questions, add them into the comments and I'll make sure to come back. Like I said, I don't always catch them all live. It's kind of funny sometimes, but I will answer them as soon as I get a chance. Have a great day, guys. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.